Whoa, I was about to jump on here and exclaim, Claire's alive, because it is still cause for celebration, even though it was inevitable. However, Outlander had to go ahead and give us a significant character's death anyhow. A terrible death that will have a lasting impact on the remainder of the series. I cried uncontrollably because this death was so tragic, reader. Rollo has passed away. The loveliest, most decent boy in history has passed away. Even more tragic is the fact that the dog dies the morning after Rachel tells Ian she is expecting a child. At that point, the two decide to forgo the war effort and return to Fraser's Ridge in North Carolina with Jamie and Claire. Ian tells Rachel, sobbing, I believe he waited until he realized you were here for me. He was looking after Ian all the way until the end. Rollo. You know how Outlander loves to kick us when we're down. Alright, it's good that Ian, Rachel, and their future children will be joining Jamie and Claire as they return to the Ridge. Unbeknownst to our parents, they will soon have even more family to care for on the homestead. Bree, Jem, and Mandy survive the Stones and rejoin Roger and Buck at Lallybrook, where Bree and Roger choose to return to Claire and Jamie's era rather than return in 1980. On this program, time and transatlantic travel are never without challenges, so let's presume that these two have some difficulties returning home. Nevertheless, it will be pleasant to have the Frasers reunited. For the love of God, tell me Marzali and Fergus will appear in Season 8, watching Bree inform Jamie about meeting his father will also be adorable. The granddaughter and her unaware grandfather experienced a beautiful moment that was ideal for the upcoming Outlander prequel. Just wait until you hear a distraught Brian explain about how much he loved his wife, Ellen, if you thought Jamie adored Claire. Hearing him admit that he hasn't been able to let go of their love and move on, and that he may never be able to, made me teary-eyed. I am prepared, willing, and able to cry before the credits have rolled. Now picture their entire love story unfolding on screen. Wait until you hear about Fraser's Ridge's newest resident if you think it will be bustling again in Season 8. Before we talk to her, let's see how Claire is recovering. The patient is doing fantastically. No doubt Denny is relieved. He finds Claire when she is out and about again and tells her how terrible it was to operate on someone he knows, and more than that, someone he loves. She informs him that she intends to perform surgery on family members as well as he did. Although there are currently no plans, this mentor/men connection has been one of the true delights of Season 7. I sincerely hope Denny finally establishes himself in North Carolina. What a fantastic crew. However, Denny is not the only individual who has recently contributed to Claire's survival. The strange and oddly delightful throuple mess that was going on between Claire, Jamie, and Lord John is finally, fortunately, resolved. As soon as he can after hearing that Claire has been shot, Lord John visits to see how she is doing. That in addition to being quite irritated that the ding-dong version of her husband has come precisely on schedule to mark his territory, Claire appears to be happy to see him. She tells Lord John that he is not permitted to address her as, my dear, and demands to know why he is here. Fortunately, Lord John isn't trying to prod Jamie's ego and jealousy. It's possible that he doesn't want to have his other eye punched into his head. The two guys agree that there is nothing more to say about what happened and are moving on from it all, albeit they don't exactly have a friendly piece of closure. But when Claire pulls John back to her side and grabs his hand, she gives us the moment this whole complicated scenario deserves. To his credit, Jamie does not punch a hole in the wall, but he might. Tears welling up in her eyes, she tells John that she regrets never giving him enough credit for everything he done for her. He saved her life. He responds, we saved each other. Jamie appears to be beginning to gain some perspective on what transpired, and perhaps he and John will be able to resume their friendship in the future. However, there does appear to be a sense of closure to his departure from the temporary hospital. Will Jamie and Claire be able to see Lord John Grey one more time? Say it isn't. In any case, Jamie continues to be so goddamn swoony about his wife in this episode that it's difficult to be too upset with him. The sweeping romantic moments between ride-or-die's Claire and Jamie are abundant in Outlander, but what we witness in this conclusion between the long-married couple is possibly the most romantic of all. I apologize, but it's so fucking sexy when a guy doesn't even flinch to support his wife while she urinates after being shot by a gun. I don't believe for a second that Dr. Claire Fraser would feel ashamed of urinating in front of her husband after everything they've gone through, but I'll suspend my disbelief for the moment she gives him that look before saying, "It's just, I love you," as Claire asks Jamie if he's been there all night as he's resting in a chair next to her. His straightforward, "Where else would I be?" reaction truly helps me forgive him for all the killings. Alright, I'll confess it in writing. Do you recall how Jamie used to sleep outside Claire's door to ensure her safety when they first met? Even after 40 years or more, he continues to do that. Love isn't. However, Claire also needs to know if Jamie was with her the entire time for another reason. In a bizarre dream that briefly seemed genuine, Master Raymond, yes, the enigmatic, undoubtedly time-traveling, Parisian apothecary from Season 2, appeals and begs for her pardon.